How do I have time for everything? Here's the honest answer. I don't have time for everything. And neither do you, honestly. In today's unscripted video, I wanted to share a bit about how I navigate my way through the work-life balance of being a four-time CrossFit Games Masters champion, a four-time Legends champion. I've got this track record over the past 5-6 years of competing at the highest level in this sport. And that doesn't come without a cost. That doesn't come with a perfect work-life balance. Trust me, it comes with, some messes, some fires over here, some pauses on some things in life. It also comes as a sacrifice for my family, even for my work in some ways, or at least historically it has. But I want to talk about the things that I do and how I navigate this. And in this, I hope you find some tips, some things you can relate to, ways that I've optimized my life that maybe you can as well. And also, again, just some lessons learned from my mistakes along the way.
This video is sponsored by Element, and lately I've been getting into warm drinks that aren't coffee. I've had a little bit of tea here and there. Super excited that Element sent me a tea kettle and their chocolate medley electrolyte drink. This is standard Element, which has all of the magnesium, potassium, and sodium that I'm looking for, but adding hot water to this is a whole new level of fun. I'm probably not going to use this for pre-workout, but post-workout on a cloudy, somewhat cool day, this sounds absolutely perfect. So in there, we've got chocolate raspberry, chocolate mint, chocolate chai. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means a lot of salt with no sugar. Element is used by everyone from NBA, NFL, and NHL players, Olympic athletes, Navy SEALs, CrossFit athletes to everyday moms and dads and exercise enthusiasts. Right now, Element is offering my listeners a free sample pack with any order. That's 8 single serving packets free with any Element order. This is a great way to try all 8 flavors or share Element with a salty friend. Get yours at drinkelement.com/Jason Grubb. This deal is only available through my link. You must go to drinklmnt.com/Jason Grubb. Wow. Oh my God, that's so good. You should probably pick up the chocolate medley.
So I just want to tell you, first of all, what does a typical day look like for me? Let's just call it a Monday, a typical Monday. All right. And then Thursdays are recovery days. So I tend to have a different schedule on Thursdays and the weekends as well. So let's talk about this. So a typical Monday looks like get up 7:45, 8 o'clock, 8:15, sometime around there. I don't have an alarm that wakes me up. I have an emergency alarm at 8:45. If I'm not up by then, I have to get up. But sometimes I just let my body wake up when it does. And it generally wakes up at around 8 a.m. Get out of bed. First thing that needs to happen is I have to put my contacts in. I can't see anything without my contacts. Then start my coffee and drink 12 to 18 ounces of water with apple cider vinegar in it. I add some salt to help that water absorb into my system and stay there. And also I've got that coffee going because I am a guy that enjoys coffee in the morning. Now I don't drink a ton of caffeine. It's actually half calf and it's just one big cup of coffee in the morning. No big deal. Then it's time to go outside, do my ice barrel, which I do every day. That's not necessarily by choice. Now it's just by habit. This is what I do. Whenever I incorporate something that I think is meaningful or beneficial in my life, at first it's a choice to do this every day. I would say the first 30 to 45 days of the ice barrel was a choice to do something hard. Now it's obviously something I'm going to do. I do this every day. I'm the kind of person who gets up and does something hard in the morning first thing. And there's a bunch of scientific benefits to cold plunging, which I've covered in another video. But I do it. Just get it done. Go inside, dry off, get dressed for the day, normally in my workout gear because I'm gonna go train soon. Make my coffee, eat my breakfast. Breakfast is typically rice with a big bowl of Greek yogurt with a little bit of orange crush flavor in there to make it delicious, simple. And by 10 a.m. or 10:15, I'm at the gym for my first session. I really enjoy doing my first session at the gym, and I get a big part of my training out of the way with other people in that first session. I typically program for Boulder athletes, including myself. If you, by the way, want to know exactly what I do every day, just sign up for Boulder Athlete and you'll see exactly what I do. We tend to have a larger session as our first session, and the second session is typically a little bit shorter and can often be condensed into a mega session if you just are out of time. But in a perfect world, you actually do 2 sessions. So I do that first big session with other people, whether I'm traveling or I'm at home. I'm trying to do that in the gym with other people. I just kind of enjoy doing that. That session might be 2 hours, might be 2.5 hours, might be an hour and a half, just depends on the day. Then I head home, eat some lunch. I typically text my wife on the way home and I say, hey, I'm on my way. She will cook me some scrambled eggs, which is mostly egg whites with a couple of eggs in there and rice, little cheese on top. By the time I get home, that's ready. I grab that, I come into my office. Again, at home, I have an office here in the RV where I'm recording this today. I have this space, which is not pretty, but functional. It's not super meaningful to me to really focus on what I'm eating. I'm just getting the food and the fuel in to recover from my first session and get ready for my second session in the afternoon. Then it's time to work. I actually use a weekly planner. This is just a one-page weekly planner that has a few things I need to get done every day specifically. I take all my overall tasks for the week and I break them up so that I have kind of a rhythm and a routine, and I literally love checking off the things I have to do on a daily basis. I've tried to organize my life in lots of different ways, from using task managers to CRMs, all of that. But really, when it comes down to it, having something tactile for me works. I also use a Google Calendar to help me stay organized with regard to social media and all of the sponsors that I work with. Really simple stuff there. But after lunch, I take a look at what does Monday say, and I'm gonna work on accomplishing what needs to happen on Monday specifically. And I strongly believe that we can be very productive if we set the goal of accomplishing 2 or 3 major tasks every single day. That doesn't include, like, of course I have to check my email, of course I have to respond to messages here and there. I'm moving the needle forward in my business doing these 3 things today. I'm either programming, or I'm writing detailed notes for every workout for my Boulder athletes, or I'm recording videos like this for my Boulder athletes, or I'm preparing YouTube content or Instagram content to share with the world, trying to get as much of that done before my second session. My second session is a priority. Typically, if I'm at home, I'll try to do that second session in the garage. It's very efficient. I can walk right in the garage, get warm, get my session done, and after that session, go inside, drink a protein shake, head back into my office, and try to find another hour and a half or so of dedicated time to accomplish more work. And it looks just like that on Tuesdays as well, except Tuesdays, I tend to record my podcast with Rick starting at 6 or 7 p.m. my time. So that might eat into my evening quite a bit more. Tuesday nights tend to be dominated with the podcast, recording it, and then doing the final edits on that, uploading it, and actually publishing it Tuesday night so that it is in your inbox on Wednesday mornings. Wednesday looks just the same. Thursday's a recovery day, so I tend to have less training that day, maybe 1 or 2 things, maybe I'm going for a swim or something like that, but a lot less on my plate. Therefore, I'll devote more time to work, recording videos, having a meeting with my co-founders of Boulder Athlete, being very, very productive, and often I will cut work off a little bit earlier on Thursdays because I've gotten all this work accomplished so that I can spend more time with my family. And I'll talk about family in a second. Friday is just like Monday. Saturdays and Sundays, here's the interesting thing. I'm of the belief that as an entrepreneur, I am always going to be juggling things to a certain extent. I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I've crafted a life that allows me to have this crazy schedule like this, but that also means that I don't just have time off on the weekends. I tend to find weekends a great time to train and to work and to spend time with family. So everyone else is taking time on the weekends. I feel like I'm getting ahead. I don't know. It's just a crazy way that I feel. But Saturday mornings, training, mega session. Get that done by 1 or 2 in the afternoon. I'll go home, typically spend about an hour doing some work. It's just a good time in that afternoon to transition from training, eat lunch, do a little bit of work, and then spend the rest of the time with my family, with my kids. Maybe we're going out to hang out with friends, something like that. That's Saturday. Sunday tends to be a day where I don't do any training whatsoever. Might take a long walk or something with my wife, but it's generally just kind of a day allotted to not training. Now, I will often find a little time on Sunday morning to get some work done. Another 90-second sprint really helps me catch up on everything that I didn't get done during the week and get me prepared for the following week. But that's typically Sunday. Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, typically not working. I'm normally just really relaxing, hanging out, trying to spend some time with my family. That is what a typical week looks like. I know that's kind of long and drawn out, but I just wanted you to hear what this looks like. And what you didn't hear in that is like coaching a basketball team or coaching wrestling with my kids, or doing a standard date night here or there, meeting with friends, or having coffee with somebody. I don't do that very often. This is a pretty regimented lifestyle. And that's just by choice. It is something that I do. I get up, I train, I eat lunch, I work, I train, work some more, I eat, spend some time with my family, and I do that, like almost every day. So let's talk about family time. When I'm with my family, I am often, honestly, somewhat distracted. I'm thinking about work, and oftentimes I'll try to grab my phone and I'll try to catch up on a couple of things. And then other times I'll catch myself doing that and try to put all that away to devote my time to my boys, 10 and 6, that are at home, and my wife. when we're not moving in a new house or traveling to Colorado for a month and heading back home, we'll typically try to have a date night about once a week. We don't have to do anything super fancy. It's literally just go out and have dessert somewhere, because I normally want to pregame by having like a pound of ground beef. We can talk about that at a different time. I've talked about that on social media, but we might eat dinner and we might go out and have a dessert somewhere. And that's a really enjoyable time. Or we might go and just hang out somewhere. Just go somewhere that's not with the kids, right? It's just kind of what that is. Some time together. We might also get together with friends. We've done that a bit, but not as much. We're hoping to do more of that in Alabama, actually, at home. Well, now that we have a home, we'd love to do that more. But once a week is a really nice way for us to stay fairly connected. And we'll talk about all kinds of things, including kids, including work, and including just kind of how we're doing with each other. But that's a really important thing. And it's just something that works for us. It might be a Wednesday night, might be a Friday night, but just getting a way to do something like that is really, really important for us. As far as my boys go, I find that if I'm able to devote some specific time with them, dedicated time, it really fills their emotional bank account. It might be in the middle of a day. I might see my older son, out shooting his bow and arrow in the backyard. And I might go out there and we might have a little bow and arrow contest, or just for fun. It doesn't always have to be competitive, but we're just doing something for fun. And then my younger son, he loves when I devote some time jumping on the trampoline with him. He loves it. And so I might just go over there and goof around on the trampoline with him for an hour. Now, what that might cost me in the afternoon is that I might have to take the work that I was going to do in the afternoon and do that in the evening when it's dark and cold outside. But that's fine. I have the flexibility to just wedge in some quality time with the boys at any time if I need to. I can think of some times before we traveled out here to Colorado in December where it was just a beautiful afternoon. I had tons of work to do. The stress is right here, but it was a nice day. I took the boys fishing, and we went fishing for a couple of hours, and it was great. Then when I went home, boys transition and my wife starts to do some things with them, and I get to work and I accomplish what I needed to do that day. So the benefits of having this lifestyle where I can just do whatever I want whenever I want is awesome, because I can just do that with my kids. I don't have lots of daily obligations specifically, but it is those dedicated moments when I really need to get out there and spend some time with them, or I need to roughhouse with them for 10 minutes. It doesn't take a lot at 10 and 6, but they need me to be there and do things with them that are meaningful like that, like tickling or like wrestling with them or roughhousing with them. It pretty much has to do with just being physically active with them in some sort of way. Now, of course, they might have wrestling tournaments. I'm not going to miss those on a Saturday. I will go to the wrestling tournament in the morning and I'll train into the evening. I don't even care. That's no problem. I can shift things around that way. So there are some benefits to having this lifestyle where I can actually do things whenever I want. But that also means that I didn't get that 90 minutes on a Saturday to get some extra work done. I might have to roll a little bit of that into Sunday. And honestly, if you could see this list, I wish it was clear. I think it's not super clear, but I don't get everything done every day. There are non-negotiables that I have to get done every week, and that happens. But there are ongoing projects that might take me much longer because I train, because I hang out with my kids, or hang out with my wife, or there's a wrestling tournament this weekend, and training is this huge priority, and they're a priority, and business is a priority, but some things just kind of have to wait. Like, I gotta reconcile QuickBooks from 2023 very soon. I have the whole year to do because I didn't do it. That's just an example. It's awful. So obviously this doesn't work for everyone. Here's what I have going for me and why this works for me. I have a spouse who supports this lifestyle. She loves that I do what I do. She's very proud of what I'm able to accomplish, and she understands how important all of this is to me. That's pretty unique and pretty special. So she supports me in that way. She cooks dinners. Sometimes she'll make my breakfast. It's really easy to make, but every once in a while she'll make it and it's really nice. She'll make my lunch. So I have these optimizations in the sense that she does those things for me. She'll also monitor social media and let me know if there's things I need to address sooner than later, which is really nice. She'll just kind of attend to some of that stuff. She homeschools the boys. And that, again, allows us to have this creative flexibility in our lives where we can spend an entire month in Colorado, awaiting the arrival of my grandbaby, which did happen a couple weeks ago, and I've got to hang out with that little nugget of joy a couple of times now. It's been amazing, but we couldn't do that if my wife didn't homeschool the boys and take care of them predominantly throughout the day. It's a huge job. To do that, to make meals, to navigate all of that, that's huge, and that allows me the freedom to train, eat, work, train, eat, work, and do that over and over again. Or if I need to pause something, hang out with the boys in the middle of the day and then work into the evening, she's there to do that and support that and take care of that. And it just takes a special person. It takes the right match. I got lucky there, right? I used to play poker for a living, by the way. And as soon as I met her, I stopped winning at poker. And so I was unlucky in poker, but very lucky in the sense that I found the right person to support this lifestyle, which is a very unique and not common lifestyle, right? I'm also the kind of person that can get really focused. I can almost have blinders on to where, like, this is, that's how I view the world. So there are people in my life that can call me out on my BS, that can let me know if I'm getting off track with my blinders on. My wife can help do that, but I mean, you guys know, like, sometimes your spouse will say something and you're just like, you take it in, but you don't take it as seriously as someone from the outside turning and saying, like, hey man, like you are out of balance. It is time for you to do this or give a suggestion, right? Honestly, we bought a house in Alabama because a very good friend of mine reminded me how important it is for our younger boys to have stability. And he mentioned it and it stuck. And yeah, I mean, within 9 months, we have a house. We have a stable life there. This is probably our last trip in this RV. But in my world, because I'm such a driving force in one specific focused direction, I need people like my spouse, like good friends that can say, like, hey man, how's your marriage? How's your life? How are your kids? How are your habits? Because they know me well enough and they know that this lifestyle can get off track beyond the slightly off trackness that it already is. Alex Hormozy, who is a mentor of mine online, I've met him, great guy. He says that doing really great things, really substantial things cannot be done with balance. You have to be unbalanced. And he's correct. If you want to start a phenomenal business, you're going to have some imbalance in your life. If you want to be a tremendous or extraordinary athlete, especially a master's athlete with a family, there's going to be imbalances. And I certainly have not done this perfectly, and I've got a track record of some messes behind me, but I definitely try to do my best. And I try to be a good human being. And I try to provide the best that I can for Boulder athletes. I try to do the best I can as a father, as a husband, and as a human being. That's some honesty about my life, and I just wanted to share that in an unscripted way. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like this, certainly let me know in the comments. Click that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps support the channel and helps us reach more masters athletes and have a bigger influence in the CrossFit community. And if you're looking for a masters training program written by a masters athlete, myself, for masters athletes, or you just want to see what I do every day in training, sign up for Boulder Athlete. You can get a 7-day free trial to just give it a shot. And remember, your best days are ahead of you. Get bolder, not older. See you next time.